Hey everyone, Corey Walen, managing partner, Bridgemark Strategies, firm that's helped over 1,000 financial advisors objectively explore the broker dealer and RIA marketplace and help them find the firm with the right combination of feel, fit, and financials for them and their business. When we're working for a client, it's our job to find the best fit out there in the marketplace for a specific advisor's practice, but it's also our job to help them tie up loose ends that they otherwise might not have thought of to avoid some really big mistakes out there. And one of the biggest mistakes that we see are financial advisors not paying enough attention and asking the right questions around a firm's transition capabilities. They've spent 50 to 100 plus hours exploring different firms' culture, resources, technology, the upfront and ongoing economics, but because they spend so much time, they're a little fatigued and assume all transition help is the same at different firms, which couldn't be further from the truth. And it's really important because it could really affect your economics as well. If you're $1 million producer, every single month that your business is on the sidelines at your old firm and not over at your new firm, that's $80,000 plus of top line revenue per month. And making the right decision on your broker dealer and transition partner could be the difference between you bringing over your practice in 2 to 3 months or 5 to 6 months. And every single firm that you talk to out there is going to tell you that they have best in class transition support. So I figured I'd just help you ask or give you some questions to answer that'll hopefully differentiate some of these firms from a transition standpoint and help really rise to the top for you. So the first question I would just ask is a really broad one, which is, what is your transition process? If a firm's transition consultant can't clearly articulate to you and have presentation materials that show you step 1 to step 150 really clearly, I think it's a big red flag. The more organized that they are and thoughtful throughout the whole entire process, the better your transition is going to be. The second question I would ask is, how many people have you moved specifically from my firm? Every single time a firm does a transition, they learn from a financial advisor's mistakes. They learn from the things that really worked and try to replicate those. So if you're from a firm, especially a captive firm that has some restrictions along with your transition, firms that have moved more people from your firm are probably going to have a better transition than firms that have no experience at all. The third question I would ask is, how many people inside of the firm are dedicated to my transition? Some firms will just dedicate one person. Some, depending on your size, will dedicate a whole team of people. And I would also ask how many people the transition team transition at one time. If a person is responsible for handling 10 transitions on top of your own, you're not going to have your full attention. Where some firms will assign one team of people to one person's transition, so they're 100% focused on you. I would ask if the transition support is in-person support or if it's virtual. Some firms will handle all of their stuff remotely from the home office, especially during COVID. Some firms have really perfected this, and some firms will actually fly in a team of transition people that will be looking over your shoulder during the transition. So if something goes wrong, they're looking over your shoulder, they understand the tools, they understand the technology, and they're going to right your ship as quickly as possible so you could get back to bringing on your clients. Most firms have this, but I would ask what the paperless transition looks like and if they actually have those capabilities. Ask them, number one, if they could have it, what percentage of their paperwork could actually be signed electronically, and what specific paperwork can't be signed electronically. I would also ask, how are you going to prepare my team for this transition? In a bunch of different areas. But the first one is before the transition. How are you going to train us on the technology? How are you going to help us build processes and decide who is in charge? How are you going to help us bring over our clients' business as quickly as possible? And then there's also transition support after the transition. How are they going to assimilate you into the firm as quickly as possible to make sure that you're using the technology as efficiently as possible, that you're using the tools and resources and you know where to go inside of a new firm to serve your clients? And another thing I would ask is, how are you going to help us track our progress of the transition, throughout the whole transition process? There's some firms out there that have some really awesome technology to understand how close you are to goal, why you are lagging behind some of the other peers that have transitioned from your firm. So a firm actually knows if they need to allocate more tools, resources, or people to your firm to make sure that you're hitting all your transition goals. I really, really hope that this helped. Aligning yourself with the right transition team could really be the difference between you having an awesome transition or a really, really bad one. This is just a handful of the questions that you should be asking when you're interviewing the capabilities. If you want to learn some more questions or have any other questions that I can answer, I'm here to help. Hope you have a great day.